This is Jay Bradley with Creepy Encounters. The date is August 16th, 2020. The next capture is going to be extremely difficult to see. The entity in this video is going to be in frame for a blink of an eye. The time it takes for us to blink an eye is 1/10 of a second, and that is all the time it takes for this fleeting manifestation to make an appearance. Because it zips across the frame and it appears to change or morph its shape during its flight, I will now refer to it as the Zip Morph Entity. I have zoomed in and slowed down the video to give you a better opportunity to see this high-speed entity. Let's take a look at the footage. As I mentioned earlier, this thing is going to be very difficult to see, so we don't want to focus on one point. What we need to do is just kind of stare at the screen with what I've heard referred to as soft eyes, where you just kind of blankly stare and you'll catch the motion much more quickly. It's going to appear on the left hand side. I'll put a red arrow there to show you where it's going to first show up, and it will make an arcing move down to the right into the foliage beyond the haunted oak right there. This is at 30 frames per second, normal speed. If you blink, you will not see it, and some people may not be able to see it at all, but I will slow that down in just a second. Now this is where it actually dives into the foliage itself on the right side of the haunted oak, right there. Let's look at that one more time. There it goes. Makes a sharp right hand turn, and right there. I have now zoomed in to get a closer look at this creature. It's right there. Makes a hard right hand turn when it gets just past the right side of the haunted oak there. Always do these in threes. One more time. There. I'm going to move the red arrow down to the point where it enters the vegetation there on the edge of the riverbank next to the haunted oak. There it is. A little bit slower, a little easier to see. And let's look at that a third time. Okay, I've slowed this down to 10% at normal speed. It's going to be a little bit easier to see. There, you can see that sharp right hand turn that it makes. Second time. And of course the third time. Right there. I'm going to now focus on that spot where it zips into the vegetation right there. And if you look down and to the left of the arrow, you're going to see some movement very quickly. I think this thing makes a complete U-turn. I'm going to place a red arrow down on the bottom of frame. Take a look at the end of that red arrow. You're going to see movement right there. Let's look at that two more times. I think this thing made a complete U-turn and went back to the left. That would be my suspicion. Amazing. Wonder what kind of G-forces this thing was encountering as it did this. Fascinating. This is the third entity that I have caught on camera at this paranormal hotspot on this day. I have created two other videos of those captures. They are called the Bad Chevron Entity, and the other is called the Return of the Yellow Chevron Entity. After shooting many hours of footage at this location, this is the only time I have ever noticed that this type of high-speed manifestation was present. Of course, as quickly as these things move, I could have overlooked many of their flybys. There appears to be a community or an ecosystem of anomalous life forms that live some sort of sped up or accelerated existence relative to ours. Again, there are a lot more questions and answers concerning the strange creatures that have been caught on camera in this unique place along the banks of the Chippewa River in northwestern Wisconsin. Feel free to share your comments, questions, observations about what you have seen in the Zip Morph Entity on my website at creepyencounters.com. Thanks.